Peace. What's going on, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tune on in before we start building on the topic for the day. Hopefully, everybody having a positive Thursday thus far. Getting ready to finish off this week strong. Got another important topic that we want to discuss today. So I'm going to give y'all a chance to tune on in before we start building on the subject matter for the day. Justin, peace. What's going on with you, my brother, man? I saw the order for the powder, man. Appreciate that support, my brother. I'm gonna have that out to you. Pretty soon. Appreciate you. How you living though, man? How you holding up? Yeah, we got to do some building on some health information today. We got to talk about veganism today. Got somebody out here trying to come at veganism, man. You know, we got to correct the error. So we got to talk about veganism today. We got to talk about the plant-based lifestyle. We just got to talk about some things, man. Just clear some things up. Man. I feel like it's dangerous to come out here and spit certain information, especially when you have a certain status. So when you out here misleading the people, especially when you got younger people watching you, I feel like that's dangerous, and I feel like that's irresponsible. Irresponsible to do that, because again, it's people paying attention to you, it's people watching you, and it's some youth watching you. Beautiful Goddess Keys, peace queen, what's going on? Oh, Justin, hey, that's the book that saved my life. Well, one of the books. Miss Donnie, what's going on with you? What's going on with you, queen? But yeah, we gotta discuss this. I gotta clear the air here, man. I don't like when people pretty much attack veganism and say some crazy things like you should eat McDonald's or eating McDonald's is okay, you know. So when I see stuff like that, I gotta address it. Not a fan of that. Hertz 187, peace. What's going on? Dominique, what's going on with you, my brother? Shine, no doubt, you already know it. David, peace. What's going on? Terenzo, my brother, what's going on? Magic Realms, what's going on, man? So we got to clear up the air, man. If y'all don't know, Chad Johnson, he's a former football player, man, and they got this podcast out, man. It's a very informative podcast called I Am Athlete. Recently, they just had Cam Newton as a featured guest on the podcast. And as I was watching it, they talked about Cam Newton's vegan lifestyle. If y'all don't know, Cam Newton is vegan. So he says. And so Chad Johnson proceeded to basically talk bad about the vegan lifestyle and suggested to Cam Newton that he allow him to meal prep for him. So then Cam Newton asked him what would an example day be in regards to his meal prep. And he proceeded to lay down the example of a day under his meal prepping services as follows. For breakfast, Chad Johnson said, for breakfast, you have McDonald's for breakfast. McDonald's. We're going to start right there. We starting off with McDonald's for breakfast. That's what he said. And he said hot cakes with sausage, egg McMuffin with orange juice. That's for breakfast. Then Cam Newton asked about a snack. Then he said for the snack, you have Pop-Tarts, 6 boiled eggs. That's the snack. That's what Chad Johnson said the snack would be. Then we got lunch. Cam Newton asked, okay, what's for lunch after the snack? Lunch, he said something about a pasta, a jerk chicken pasta, I believe, extra chicken, no asparagus. That's lunch. Then he asked about a snack in between lunch and dinner, and that's when he told Cam Newton that he could eat his healthy snacks, talking about rice cakes and things of that nature. Then Cam asked, what is for dinner? That's when Chad Johnson proceeded to say soul food is for dinner. Cam Newton asked for him to clarify what he meant by soul food, because we all have different perceptions and interpretations of what soul food is. So this is how Chad Johnson broke down soul food according to him. So it will be, a dude said something about bacon to fried chicken. I'm lost on that, but that's what I thought I heard. Baked chicken, fried chicken, don't matter. Still no good. Then you got candy yams, mac and cheese, greens, Sweetwater cornbread, and chocolate cake. yellow cake, chocolate icing. So that's a sample day for Chad Johnson in regards to his meal prep that he was going to introduce to Cam Newton. And dude apparently was dead serious about this and proceeded to basically get upset with the brothers for talking about veganism, talking about going plant-based, as he said something about Ocho Cinco versus science, and was telling dudes that they were brainwashed in regards to promoting a plant-based vegan lifestyle. I'm thinking that this is very interesting. Terrell, what's going on? And then they got into another conversation about genetics, which both parties were kind of incorrect. Cam Newton and Brandon Marshall were talking about genetics being the reason why Chad Johnson can eat the type of food that he described, follow the regimen that he described, and still look the way that he looks. That's partly accurate, but I have to break it down like this. See, we got to stop taking things on a surface level, on a physical level. Just because Chad Johnson may look like he is in shape doesn't necessarily mean he is healthy. So again, you can look at somebody and say, man, you eating all that, but you still appear to be healthy. No, you may look like you healthy. That does not mean internally you are not suffering. CJ, what's going on? Thunder Scorpion. Basically, Chad Johnson, he had, on their little podcast that they have, man, he told Cam Newton that he needs to stop following the vegan lifestyle and he can put him on the meal prep. And he ran the meal prep down. And I'm going to just break it down briefly for you. McDonald's for breakfast, Pop-Tart, 6 boiled eggs for a snack, pasta, extra chicken, a jerk pasta with extra chicken for lunch, with no asparagus, healthy snack in between lunch and dinner. Then for dinner is soul food, which is like baked chicken or fried chicken, candy yams, mac and cheese, green, Sweetwater cornbread, chocolate cake, or yellow cake, chocolate icing. That is what he told Cam Newton to follow instead of going vegan, as if it's something wrong with going vegan. And I'm like, all right, so genetics. So they got into this spiel about genetics, and Cam Newton and Brandon Marshall was saying, okay, it's genetics as to why you are able to eat that way and still keep your physique. Incorrect. And the reason why I can say that's incorrect, because I am similar to Chad Johnson, meaning I can eat trash and you won't know it. It takes a lot for me for you to actually see that I'm out of shape physically. So I can be eating garbage and it still look like I'm in tip-top shape on a physical level. That is how my body is wired. But I can tell you, when I was at my best physique, I felt terrible internally. Hence why I made the changes that I made. When I transitioned to the vegetarian vegan lifestyle, physically, I look great. Physically, I look great. See, I didn't make the transition. A lot of people make the transition to lose weight and things of that nature. When I made the transition, when I let go of the meat and the dairy and all of that, when I decided to make the transition, man, I physically looked great. Physically, you would look at me and be like, man, you are in tip-top shape. Physically, if you're looking at me just from the physical surface level. But internally, I was all bad. Internally, I was all bad. The wife is in the building. Y'all say peace to the wife. Internally, I was all bad. So when Chad, when they were making it seem like it's genetics, I didn't like that, because at the end of the day, again, physically, he can appear to be in tip-top shape, but internally, he's suffering. And you have people that make it to 50 years, don't experience any type of symptom. But guess what? The first symptom is the last symptom, that heart attack that they have, that they don't survive. Up until that point, they ain't experienced any type of symptoms, so they would say, because they swept the headaches and the little colds under the rug. They experienced symptoms, but they swept them under the rug. They ignored them, wrote them off. Then that very first symptom that they want to pay attention to is going to be that heart attack. Sudden cardiac arrest type deal. And not a lot of people survive that joint. And for a lot of people, that's their actual first symptom. So they believe. You don't want that to be your first symptom. So when you out here eating the McDonald's and all of that for breakfast, the Pop-Tarts and all that type of nonsense, and you're not experiencing any type of symptoms, so you say, doesn't necessarily mean that you are in tip-top shape or in good health. So people got to understand that correlation, man. Just because you look good don't necessarily mean you are good. So we got to understand that, man. You cannot be looking at things from that surface level. Whole different ball game. Whole different ball game. And we always tend to go to genetics, man. It's a lot deeper than genetics. Even when you're looking at things like cancer, they break down the science to you. They say cancer, they say it's 5 to 10%. The cancer that you're going to get is it revolves around 5 to 10% of genetics. Everything else, that mean about 85 to 90% revolves around environmental factors. 85 to 90% revolves around environmental factors. Only 5 to 10% related to genetics. So we be giving too much credit to genetics. We give way too much credit to genetics. Yeah, genetics may have something to do with the physical shape, the physical makeup of your body, but that again doesn't necessarily mean that you are good. So I really didn't like that discussion. And the reason why I didn't like that discussion is because I felt like it was irresponsible of Chad Johnson. And the reason why I say that is because that's a large platform where a lot of the youth are watching. A lot of young brothers that's about to come up under them playing sports and things of that nature are watching. And one of the main things that these brothers need to practice is to take care of their bodies. So when you got a well-known athlete out here advocating McDonald's for breakfast, that is dangerous. That's dangerous. McDonald's for breakfast, Pop-Tarts, 6 boiled eggs, and all that type of stuff. Man, he just made an assumption that everybody can eat that way. Man, that will kill a lot of people. So I really feel like that was very irresponsible, because if somebody is watching them, it's a young bull watching them that ain't got the same type of makeup as Chad, meaning he's somebody that'll eat those type of foods and his body responds immediately to it. You setting that child up for danger. You setting that child up for danger, telling him that he can eat the McDonald's for breakfast, the Pop-Tarts, 6 boiled eggs, the pasta, no asparagus, and all this type of stuff for dinner, cake and all that type of nonsense. Man, you setting that child up for danger. So I feel like that was irresponsible, very irresponsible. Like, he must be getting paid by somebody. He must be getting paid by somebody. Thunder Scorpion, he didn't necessarily say that he would do it. He was just kind of entertaining it because it was Chad Johnson talking, but he didn't necessarily say that he was going to do it. He just let him talk. And another thing that Chad ain't really realizing too is that just the fact that he is up there getting upset about people talking about veganism, saying that they are brainwashed, he not understanding that the fact that he is upset about that, the foods that he is eating is contributing to that. Because why are you bothered? Why are you saying that we brainwashed for talking about veganism and you actually getting upset? Because it was another conversation that they had where dude was getting real, and it was an argument between him and Brandon Marshall about this same exact conversation. And he jumping up on the table and whatnot, talking about Ocho Cinco versus science. Why is that making you mad? Why is that making you mad? That don't even make any sense to be getting mad at a brother for talking about being plant-based and how the plant-based lifestyle didn't help them. So when you got people that's talking about, because it was a chef that came in when he served in the food, and he talked about when he eliminated dairy from the lifestyle and how when he eliminated dairy, it got rid of his knee problems almost instantly. It's like, come on, Chad, all the evidence is out here. It's too much science. It's too much evidence out here that's letting you know the benefits of going plant-based for you to be out here spitting that type of ignorance, unless you getting paid by McDonald's, unless you getting paid by the folks that make the Pop-Tarts, unless you getting paid by the egg industry. That's the only way. That's the only way that I can see somebody promoting that. But that's just irresponsible, and that's totally ignorant, man, because it's too much evidence out here that's letting you know that you can go plant-based, you will have no problems. It's too much evidence that's letting you know going plant-based is going to help prevent and reverse a lot of ailments. It's just too much evidence out here for dude to be remaining ignorant. Like, he's at this point choosing to remain ignorant and choosing to just speak this ignorance. And that's irresponsible, because you got to know that's Chad Johnson. A lot of people are watching Chad Johnson. A lot of people going to say, Chad Johnson said this. Look at Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson say he eat McDonald's, and look how he's built. You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that, because I could have did the same thing. I could have said, man, all I eat is meat and junk food, and look how I'm built. And people would have been following me, And that would have led to a lot of serious complications. And another thing that Chad Johnson is not bringing up, and that's why I don't like when people are one-sided. Another thing that he's not bringing into consideration is that look at the people who populate these hospitals. Look at before COVID hit. Let's look at the number one cause of death. Let's look at like the top five. The top five, a lot of those are related to dietary choices. So let's look at heart disease. And let's look at some of the factors that contribute to heart disease. You looking at high blood pressure. You looking at obesity. You looking at high cholesterol. You looking at inflammation. Those four things are predictors for heart disease. Look at the four things that I named. All of those revolve around dietary choices. High cholesterol. Only way your cholesterol is about to be high out here is if you consuming this too much saturated fat, trans fatty acids, and to a lesser extent, the dietary cholesterol. That is what boosts the cholesterol, along with inactivity, stress, and things of that nature. But for the most part, it's what you are consuming that is contributing to the high cholesterol. High blood pressure. They done already linked the high blood pressure to what we are consuming. And again, inactivity, smoking, stress, things of that nature. Inflammation. You already know the processed foods can cause the inflammation. Obesity. Don't get me started on that. We already know what's causing the obesity. So that's really interesting. So we didn't, the number one cause of death, we got heart disease. So if somebody following, this is what Chad Johnson ain't finna bring up. So you telling me to combat heart disease, I can guarantee you that the people that's sitting there with heart disease, guarantee you that they be eating McDonald's or any other type of fast food, guarantee you they consume it, guarantee you they may got some Pop-Tarts in the crib, and they probably eat eggs, guarantee it, guarantee you that they food with chicken and pasta, and I guarantee you they eat everything that he lists on his soul food. So he not about to acknowledge that. I can guarantee you that the people that's dying of heart disease, I can guarantee you that they not vegan for the most part, because we already got the studies out here telling you that. We already got the studies out here, man. What Dean Ornish already laid it out and said he had a bunch of people with the heart disease, fed them a low-fat vegan diet, and reversed the heart disease. Reversed it. So why is Chad Johnson not talking about the fact that the number one cause of death, heart disease, outside of COVID and all that now, but the number one cause of death, and it's been that way for a minute, why is he not talking about all the foods that he named? Most of the people that suffer from these ailments consume these foods. So why didn't he bring that up is what I'm saying. Can guarantee you that 9 out of the 10 people that suffer from heart disease, I guarantee you that they eat either McDonald's, Burger King, whatever fast food, they consume fast food. Can guarantee you that. But I can guarantee you if we surveyed 9 out of 10 people that got some type of heart disease, I guarantee you that not 90% of them gonna say, well, we vegan. Can guarantee you that. Can guarantee you that. And I can also guarantee you that about 40-50% of the people that's suffering from heart disease can reverse the condition if they follow a well-planned, vegan, plant-based lifestyle. Can guarantee you that. Why can I guarantee you that? Because that's what the evidence is out here telling you. Yeah, beautiful God is keys. And it's crazy. And the crazy thing about that, beautiful God is keys, you got some athletes out here that's trying to push the vegan lifestyle. And I applied this. And I applied this to myself too. That conversation is how it goes. That conversation is how it goes on a micro level. See, that's the macro level because they celebrities, they athletes. But I was like, that's exactly how it goes. When you decide to make that decision, you decide to go plant-based and vegan or whatever it is, you always run into a Chad Johnson. I ran into a Chad Johnson. I ran into people telling me to eat the McDonald's, to eat the Pop-Tarts, to eat the boiled eggs, to eat the chicken. So I guarantee we all then ran into a Chad Johnson when we then decided to try to make healthier changes in our lives. I know I ran into a few of them. And I was playing college football at the time where I was deciding to make the change. So y'all already know I ran into him. But we didn't all ran into a Chad Johnson. Somebody then found out you going vegan, and they acting like, for one, that they didn't even try to embrace the lifestyle and just failed at it. I can see if dude tried to go vegan and it just didn't work out for him. And then he expressed the sentiments. But dude ain't even never tried to go vegan and talking like he knows what the lifestyle entails. Man, just try to experiment with going vegan, Chad, is all we gonna ask. And let us know how you feel. Guarantee you gonna feel 100 times better than you think you feel now. Guarantee it. Righteous Reese, what's going on? Guarantee it. That's another problem that I have. People who criticize the lifestyle but have never tried to live the lifestyle out. That is, again, that's ignorant and that's irresponsible. I can speak about the meat eating lifestyle because I lived it. If you have not lived out the vegan lifestyle, why are you trying to criticize someone who is? That makes absolutely no sense. If somebody is telling you, man, that I went vegan, I'm feeling good, this is the best I ever felt, why are you trying to bring them away from that lifestyle when they are letting you know how this lifestyle is impacting and changing their life? And you have never tried, you have never attempted to live the lifestyle. Who are you to critique that lifestyle in a negative manner? That's ignorant. That's ignorant. That's ignorant. If you have never tried to go without meat and dairy products, why are you trying to criticize somebody who is telling you, I've done it, I feel fabulous, I feel great? Who are you to tell them that they are wrong? That don't even make any sense, man. But that's what happens. Everybody turns into a nutritionist. Everybody turns into an expert on veganism when you decide to make that decision. So we done all ran into Chad Johnsons. We done all ran into him. We done all ran into him. Thunder Scorpion, and exactly. And that's why I say I'm the same way, man. I can eat garbage. As long as I'm working out, you ain't going to be able to tell. You ain't going to be able to tell. But again, internally, I'm suffering. So that's the part that they don't tell you about DNA. All the processed foods that you are actually eating, and genetics and stuff like that. All the processed food that you eating that's altering your DNA, man, that's damaging you in the long run and is damaging your future. So we got to build on that, man. It's a lot deeper than just looking good. It's a lot deeper than just looking good. We trying to feel good. We trying to pass down better habits to the future. See, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And he totally missed that. Totally missed that. Magic rims, and that's what I was just chopping it up on. If you haven't attempted, and that's one thing that I tell my clients when my clients ask me about something. Hey, what do you think about this powder? Well, I break it down like this. I say, listen, I've never used it, so I can't speak on experience. I can only build on what I've read about it and what I've heard other people who have used it say about it. But I personally can't tell you anything about it based on experience because I don't use it. That's how I have to break it down. That's how I have to phrase it. That's how I do it. If I haven't lived it out, I tell you, I haven't engaged in this type of lifestyle, but I have read about it and I do know other people that have. Here's what they say. And you can take that information and do what you want to do with it. But I'm not about to act like I've lived the lifestyle and then start critiquing it from that perspective. I haven't lived it, so I don't have a right. I don't have a right to critique it like that. Tony Briscoe, I made one of my first videos on this particular channel. I talked about that and still couldn't get nobody to. I posed a very simple question, not even a question. I made this very simple point. When athletes go vegan and they get hurt, everybody likes to shine a light upon that. But do y'all know? Just look up the injury report right now and find me all the people that's injured that play sports right now that eat meat. It's gonna be most of them. Man, athletes have been getting injured since we done been playing sports. When I ate meat, I was getting hurt. Man, I stayed hurt. Go ask the people that played with me in high school. All I ate was meat, and I was getting hurt all the time. I was injury prone. I know a dude when I played in college, man, this dude drank all the milk in the world. And they say milk strong bones. That dude stayed hurting his bones. And that's when I was able to validate that milk actually weakens the bone. So it's like when people go vegan and these dudes get hurt, man, you're playing football for one. Football is taxing on your body. It's hard for you to play football and not get hurt no matter how you eat. If you play football for 20 plus years and you don't come out with an injury, you Superman at that point. I don't know anybody that ain't played football that ain't been hurt. So when you playing these sports, man, you gonna get hurt no matter what, no matter how you eat. It's wear and tear on the body. It's a bunch of miles on your body. But what we talking about veganism, it decreases your chances and it helps with recovery, which is why some of the athletes that went vegan too. Cam Newton was getting hurt before he even went vegan. He went vegan to help with the recovery for one of his injuries. But I just asked the people to explain to me, the athletes that get hurt all the time that consume meat. So when people, I remember that because I made a video on that right when it started happening, when Cam Newton was getting hurt. And Arian Foster is another one, dude that played football and went vegan and he got hurt. It's a lot of injury prone athletes out here that eat meat. So I was like, man, that wasn't even a good argument. But people can't wait. When you go vegan, they can't wait for you to fall. So they can be like, see, you need to eat meat. Whole while it's a million people that's hurt that eat meat. But once that one vegan goes down, they like, see, that's why you need meat. That's why you need meat. Man, go look at people like Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, John Wall, dudes that did been hurt for I don't know how long. They ain't been talking nothing about veganism, but we ain't finna say, oh, see, they may need to go vegan. That meat right there is the reason why they getting hurt. But as soon as somebody say I'm vegan and they get an ankle sprain, they gonna be like, see, it's because he went vegan, because he ain't eating no chicken. He ain't drinking his milk. Soon as he get a headache, they gonna blame it on vegan. They gonna blame it on the fact that he went vegan. That's crazy. They be waiting on the vegan to slip up just so they can point it out. Whole while athletes have been getting hurt ever since we done been playing sports. Ever since we done been playing, injuries have been part of every sport since sports were invented. So that'd be funny when people be like, see, reason why he getting hurt is because he vegan. Boy, that's funny. And she asked the wife asked the question, what's the difference between a fruitarian and a vegan? The difference between a fruitarian and a vegan is that the fruitarian is essentially going to make more of a conscious effort to consume more fruits opposed to anything else. A vegan is more so going to be a little bit more balanced when it comes to the fruits, the veggies, the grains, and the things of that nature. But the fruitarian, they say, I forget the percentage, I think it's about 75 to 85% of your food by weight must be fruit. That's what a fruitarian is by definition. Now, you could be 100% fruitarian, meaning you can consume 100% of your foods via fruit. But if you 65 to 85% of your food that you consume by weight is fruit, then you are considered fruitarian. That gives you about, that gives you roughly, say if you go 70%, that gives you 30% to consume like sweet vegetables and things of that nature, which is what they consume, like corn and stuff like that. So it's about 65 to 80% of your food by weight. I think that's what it is. It may be 85%. That is what classifies you as a fruitarian. Again, you could be 100%. You consume all fruits. That's also a fruitarian. That's also a fruitarian. But a vegan, they eating a lot of other foods that a fruitarian may not consume. Fruitarian may not be consuming beans and things of that nature. A vegan gonna consume that. A vegan can basically eat anything that's not dairy, that's not meat. A fruitarian is making a more conscious effort to up their intake of fruit. A vegan ain't necessarily doing that. They trying to balance everything out. So the main difference there is just the focus on consuming the fruit. The vegan not about to go out of their way to make sure they consuming a ton of fruit. The fruitarian, that's the main staple of their regimen, the fruit. Righteous Reese, man, it ain't, listen, what you eat affects how you think and feel. I went vegan, been doing it for 3 months with some semen retention, feeling great. And that's the thing. And what people don't understand is when you make the transition, when you do it the proper way, like it literally clears the mind, like it literally strengthens the mind. when you go plant-based, when you go vegan, when you go raw, whatever it is, whatever healthy lifestyle that you want to adopt, it clears the mind. It strengthens the mind. A lot of people don't understand that part of it, man. It impacts the mind. It impacts the mind. Sharif, and man, there you go. There you go. And see, we got to counter. See, every time information comes out like that, like anytime somebody like Chad Johnson comes out and say something like that against veganism, I got to correct the error. I don't like that, man, because people are listening. People are listening. They like, hey, dude, eat McDonald's. He look good. I'm going to eat the McDonald's too. And you would think it's 2021. You would think it's common knowledge to not consume the McDonald's. But you drive past McDonald's right now, guarantee you the drive-through line is packed. So people still out here consuming McDonald's. That's why I say it's dangerous for dude to get up here and say that. McDonald's is known deadly food. But we still out here consuming the McDonald's. So we can't have high-profile athletes pushing McDonald's. We just can't have that. We can't have that. Like, we can't have that at all. DJ Elmo, man, listen, it's so much evidence, which is why I felt like it was ignorant for the brother to say that. It's so much evidence that's linked. And I ain't even get into the other four. Like, I just tapped on heart disease. I didn't even get to cancer, diabetes, things of that nature. I didn't even get into that. I didn't even get into the science of all of that. I didn't even get into the science of what causes cancer. Listen, if you go to a hospital and it's 100 cancer patients in that hospital, how many out of that 100 would y'all think are about to be vegans or about to be fruitarians, people focusing on upping their fruit intake? Like, what's the percentage y'all think of those people going to be vegans, going to be plant-based, opposed to eating meat, eating dairy? Guarantee you're going to have 90%, 95% of that 100. They going to be meat eaters. They going to be dairy eaters, dairy consumers. Guarantee you that. Guarantee you that. I guarantee that. So people, like, I'm not understanding it, man. I'm not understanding it, but I do kind of understand it because I know certain people are getting paid to push this type of message out here. So I get that aspect of it, but it's like, come on, man, the evidence is right in your face. The evidence is right in your face. And then we got this fascination with protein. I done made several videos breaking that down, but we overly fascinated with protein to the point where we addicted to the protein. And again, why are we so obsessed with protein when we really don't even need it in abundance like that? That'd be the first. When you start working out and you start doing the knowledge to just what to eat, how to eat, things of that nature, I guarantee you when you start Googling things, I guarantee you one of the first things you're going to come across is somebody telling you to increase your protein. Guarantee you that. Guarantee you that whatever article you put up going to revolve around protein, going to make a big deal out of protein. Guarantee you that. Protein is really not that important. Just think about it. Just think about it. When a baby is born and you breastfeed the baby, they getting the milk from the mother. If protein was so essential, why is the protein content of breast milk so small for a growing child? Why is the protein content in the breast milk so small if protein is something that we need to overly focus on and make sure we eat in abundance in every meal? Why is the protein content in breast milk so light, so small? Explain that to me. If I got to be increasing my intake in protein every freaking meal, why is the protein content in breast milk for the growing baby, for the growing child? Why is it so light? Why is it so small? But again, we overly focus on protein. That's one of the main things you're going to hear somebody talk about. Up your protein. Don't eat the carbs. Stuff like that. That's what you're going to hear. Thunder Scorpion, man, I was talking with my clients today about resetting. So get that reset on. Get that reset on. D Monty, they never talk about the success stories. They never talk about the successful people who done went vegan, who done dabbled with veganism. Like, they ain't gonna talk about Dame Lillard, who transitioned to the vegan lifestyle. I don't know if he's doing it now. And he had one of the, listen, he started balling when he made the transition, or when he announced he made the transition. We ain't gonna mention that type of stuff. We just wait for the vegan to fall. So when he falls, he'll be like, blame it on veganism. I can go look up the injury report right now for some basketball players, and I guarantee you that most of them is consuming meat. So it's like, come on. Magic rims, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. D Monty, the recovery rate, they don't have a lot of studies on fruitarians because, for one, not too many fruitarians out here. But they got some studies out here. But for the most part, when you read about fruitarianism, it's about to be somebody's personal experience with it. But I'm going to say, when done properly, the recovery rate would be just about equal or a little bit more for the fruitarian. But to go strictly fruitarian, to go like, if you do it 100%, man, you got to consume a lot of fruits on a daily basis to get all the nutrients that you need. A lot of fruit. And I don't know how many of y'all can afford to be buying fruit like that every day, but that can become expensive. So that's the downfall to the fruitarian lifestyle. You got to be in a certain part of the world for you to be going fruitarian. And because you got to consume a lot of fruit to get what you need. You got to consume a lot of fruit to get what you need. But when done properly, like, I feel like that's the way to go. But like I said, man, it takes a lot of fruit. It takes a lot of fruit. You will have to be eating a lot of fruit to get what you need. But I know for a fact the recovery rate for a vegan is top notch. It's great. Because again, it gets rid of inflammation and all of that type of stuff, man. So you clearing up a lot when you do a properly planned vegan lifestyle, when you adopt one. So your recovery time is great. And I can vouch for that. I used to be trash when I was eating the meat in regards to my recovery time. And I was younger then. My recovery time was trash. I would be sore for a minute. Now my recovery is a lot better ever since I've transitioned. Thunder Scorpion, man. Like they say it all the time, man. If we had to go back, we had to kill these animals ourselves, a lot more of us would be vegetarian. A lot more of us would be vegan. Yeah, the fruitarian thing, like I said, that in order, because it depends on your goal, man. But going fruitarian, like I said, it financially can take a hit on you because you have got to literally consume a lot of fruit to get everything that your body needs. But as a lot of evidence is stating that we fruitarians, frugivores by nature. But fruits, and I feel like that's one of the main reasons. Now, I'm not saying I subscribe to that 100%, but a lot of my research is leading me in that direction. And now it would kind of make sense to see why they have vilified the fruit. Just think about it. Just think about it. The healthiest food that we can eat, they have vilified it. And they have made it the villain. They have told you that you can't eat fruit, but then they'll tell you can eat cheese, you can eat all of that unhealthy stuff, but you can't eat fruit though. They have literally made people afraid of fruit. Just think about what I'm saying. What evidence do they have to support any type of populations where they consume mainly fruits dying of diseases? Where do they have this evidence? Can somebody show me a population that consumes primarily natural organic fruit and they are suffering from the ailments that we are suffering from in this country? Can somebody find me a group of people like that? But I can find you a ton of people in America that's suffering from heart disease, cancer, diabetes, etc., etc. But they vilifying fruits though. It's interesting. I'm like, man, they know the truth. That's why they vilifying them. That's why they telling you don't consume them. So that made me just look at the bigger picture. Why they trying to deter us from something? They trying to deter us from fruits, man. They didn't lump the fruits in that card box and they got us running from the fruit. Thunder Scorpion, man, them fruit fasts be powerful. They be powerful. D Monty, that's the only thing that it helps with is with the hormones that's within the meat, man. And they, of course, we already know how they lacing the meat with a bunch of antibiotics. Listen, I was gonna do a separate video, man, but since we didn't start chopping it up, I think I'm about to read to y'all some things that y'all may want to know about what's happening to these animals that some of y'all may consume, or some of y'all know people that consume, but we can give y'all the evidence right here. I'm gonna read some things to y'all, man, because I feel like this is important information, and y'all can get this information to your people if you didn't already let go of the meat. But it's very important that we understand what's happening to these animals that we consuming. Like, we got to really understand what we are consuming out here, and I don't think a lot of people really consider what we are consuming or what they are consuming. So let me see if I can. All right, we're gonna go down to the pigs right here. We're gonna go down to the pigs. I'm reading it straight out of this book. Just listen to what's happening when the pigs are killed here. Listen to how they're killing these pigs. Although workers employ a variety of methods to kill the runts, among the more common are blunt trauma to the head. So that's one way they're killing the pig. Blunt trauma to the head. That's what you consuming. Blunt trauma to the head. Dumping and thumping. Piglets are picked up by their hind legs and slammed onto a concrete floor until they die. So when you consuming the pig, let alone the fact that the pig is just disgusting, you shouldn't be eating it anyway. But look at how the pig is being killed. You don't think that you consuming that type of energy? Piglets are picked up by their hind legs and slammed onto a concrete floor until they die. And that's what you consume. But you don't think that's important though. Blunt trauma to the head, but you don't think that's important though. You consuming that blunt trauma to the head. You consuming the fact that they picked up by them hind legs, slammed onto the concrete floor until they die. And then listen, it say healthy piglets don't fare much better. Most undergo a variety of mutilations, including ear notching, tail docking, teeth clipping, and for males, castration. So that's what's happening. So what's happening to the animals, and we consuming all of that. We consuming that trauma. And then look, it say, listen, pig factories are fertile breeding grounds for communicable diseases such as swine influenza, enzootic pneumonia, infectious atrophic rhinitis, and porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome. To ensure that the pigs survive until it's time for slaughter, antibiotics, hormones, and other pharmaceuticals are routinely added to their feed. So listen, this is just a breeding ground supplying you with all of these diseases. You don't even need these disastrous breeding grounds for you to get these diseases, because again, the pig by itself shouldn't be consumed, and it's toxic and it's acidic. But look at the condition of the factories. So that's just amplifying it, making it 1,000 times worse. And that's just the pig. That's just the pig. We're gonna look at the little chickens here. And I'm gonna just read a few pointers that I got. Say, look, because of the popularity of white breast meat, these birds are selectively bred for bigger breasts. So again, they practice, we talked about eugenics, selective breeding. They practice this on the animal level in regards to the foods that the meat that we consume. And look, it says, however, selective breeding of this type causes muscle growth to surpass bone growth, resulting in deformities, fractures, tears, and ruptures. Many birds are literally crippled by their own weight. So this is the chicken y'all consuming. So when they selectively breed the chicken, because they want them to have the bigger breast, it says breeding of this type causes muscle growth to surpass bone growth, resulting in deformities, fractures, tears, and ruptures. Many birds are literally crippled by their own weight. This is the type of stuff that we consume. You are consuming disease-ridden, you are consuming sick animals. Even when the animal is healthy, it is still toxic, but you are consuming sick animals that have been fed unnatural diets, they practicing selective breeding on them. So the muscle growth is surpassing the bone growth. So they deform, defected, and you consuming that all because you like the white breast meat. Come on now. And I'm gonna go again. To prevent the birds from pecking one another to death, workers use a heated blade to sear off about 1/3 to 1/2 of a chicken's beak. Again, this is what we consuming. This is what we consuming. And here we go again. Most egg factories also subject their birds to the practice of forced molting in an effort to induce another egg-laying cycle. During this time, food is either completely withheld, starvation regimen, or restricted, low nutrient diet for 10 to 14 days, causing weight losses of up to 35% of body weight. So again, this is what you are consuming. So you got people that's out here talking about how we need to eat meat. Give them this information out here, because this is what you consuming. And this is talking about the disposal method of the chickens. Here we go. The most common disposal methods are maceration. Chicks are ground up alive. Gassing, CO2, argon, or both. Suffocation. Chicks are thrown into garbage can, bags, or dumpsters. And electrocution. Chicks are sucked through pipes onto a kill plate. This is what's happening. Now we go into the cattle, going to the beef. Listen to this. When cattle eat a grain-based diet, microflora in their rumen, which is the first stomach, produce organic acids, driving down the rumen pH. This causes a variety of health problems, and in severe cases can lead to bloat, acidosis, and liver abscesses. That is what you are consuming when you consuming the beef, because they feeding the beef an unnatural grain-based diet. Grain-based diet. That's what's happening when you choosing to consume the beef. Listen to this, man. Another fact about 70% of all antibiotics used in the United States are given to livestock. So they giving the livestock all the antibiotics, and we consuming the livestock. So you may think you don't take no antibiotics out here, but you consuming the livestock that they didn't inject with the antibiotics. So therefore, you indirectly consuming it. And then we got cattle producers use hormones because they allow animals to grow larger and more quickly on less feed and fewer other inputs, thus reducing production costs, but also because they produce a leaner carcass more in line with consumer preferences for diets with reduced fat and cholesterol. So they lacing them up with these hormones that's causing a big imbalance within us, especially the youth. Especially the youth. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all be looking at some of these young men and women out here and be like, man, what they eat? What they eat? They eating all these foods laced with all this hormone, with these hormones. So when you look at that 13-year-old and he look like he's 18, this is why. You look at that 12-year-old and he look like he's 25, this is why. This is why, man. This is why. And I think I got some more. Yeah, here we go. Listen to this. We're going to read about the calves here. The calves' flesh color is very light because they're exclusively fed an iron-deficient milk replacement. Their flesh is very tender because most veal calves are tethered at the neck in small stalls so they can't turn around and develop their muscles. These animals are slaughtered at the age of 16 to 18 weeks. About 15% of U.S. veal is called bob veal and comes from newborn calves ranging from 2 to 3 days to 2 to 3 weeks of age. This is what's happening. This is what we consuming. This is what we consuming. I feel like this information is very valuable and very important because a lot of people don't know that. Matter of fact, a lot of people are afraid to find that information out because they feel like if they know that information, they're going to look at the meat differently. That's why people don't like to watch the slaughterhouse videos. But we can't run away from these facts, man. They picking up that pig by the hind leg, slam them on the ground until they kill it. Then they chopping it up and feeding it to you, and you consuming that, thinking that that's A-okay, thinking that it's beneficial. Come on now. Come on now. Dark Sunday, peace, what's going on? Taka Zulu, what's going on? Man, I had to read that to y'all, man, so I ain't see no comments, so I'm going to check these comments out real quick. Oh, D Monty, man, we already, I was just breaking down pork. And for those that want to know the name of the book, Becoming Vegan. If you looking to make the transition of veganism, you need to read this book. Need to read this book. One of the best books on veganism out there. So if you're striving to make the transition, read this book. One reason I like this book is because it's not necessarily biased. It's giving you the pros and cons of veganism. It's letting you know, it's like unbiased studies. It's letting you know that, hey, it says veganism helps for this, but veganism doesn't necessarily help for this. So it's letting you know all of that. It's laying all of that out there. It's not biased. It's not actually out here trying to push and promote veganism. It's giving you the information. It's giving you the stats. That's why I like this particular book. That's why I recommend it. Unbiased research. The only condition that they said veganism didn't necessarily help with, but it didn't necessarily make it worse, was like your bone health. So they said when they studied vegans, they didn't necessarily see an improvement in their bone density and their bone health. And it may have decreased slightly, but that doesn't necessarily mean the quality of their bones were bad. So that's one of the only things, one of the only cons about veganism. So they said it didn't necessarily do anything to improve the bone health based off of the studies that they did on the people that they studied. Yeah, Magic Rim, the excess protein bad for the kidneys. And it can actually contribute to diabetes as well. Excess protein. Oh, Terrell, that's why they call the gut the second brain. Another thing too about your gut health. The gut health, that's like the house of serotonin. Most of your serotonin is produced in the gut. We know what serotonin is. We know what serotonin is responsible for. It's responsible for the feeling of happiness. So if you feeling depressed a lot, it may be because your gut health is not up to par. You may have intestinal issues if you are constantly feeling depressed, like your gut health may not necessarily be that good, because the gut is where most of the serotonin is manufactured and produced. Serotonin leads to feelings of happiness, peace, joy, all that good stuff. So if you have great health within the gut, then you're going to feel better. You're going to feel better. You're going to think better. You're going to think more positively and things of that nature. So a lot of people don't understand that. When you find yourself feeling bad, it may be an issue with your gut. Thunder Scorpion, steak and potato, meat and potatoes. You know, that's how we was raised. And that's the worst. That's one of the worst combinations of food that you can consume. Meat and potatoes, steak and potatoes. The worst combination. The heavy protein rich food and fattening food with a starchy food. Terrible combination. Terrible combination. Thunder Scorpion, I already know. I know how that go. Yeah, Tony Briscoe, they not focusing on the fact that he went plant-based. They ain't focusing on that. Justin Green, get that fast in. Get that fast in. DJ Elmo, before you made that comment, that's what I was talking about when I said protein can contribute to diabetes. Again, you want to know about that? Read the book Proteinaholic. Breaks it down. Breaks it down. Thunder Scorpion, and that's the thing. When you go down south and you like thick, they say that you healthy. When you a little bit skinny, they act like you need to eat. They think you about to die. But when you thick, though, they say that you healthy. Like when you real big, got a lot of weight on you, they say that that's healthy. But when you small, got a smaller frame, they say you need to eat. So we already know. DJ Elmo, that's how I feel about it. I feel like you getting paid. You got to be getting paid, man. You in your mind, you in your right. Even the people that eat McDonald's like wouldn't come out here and advocate other people eat McDonald's. It's like, man, your right mind, you just can't say that. You in your right mind, I can't sit up here and tell somebody to eat McDonald's, Pop-Tarts, boiled eggs, soul food, all of that, and feel like I'm giving them the right information. You can't feel that that's right. Justin Sims, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Oh, Taka Zulu. My brother, I'm glad you said that. I don't even remember. I think I did a video about that. I think I did a video when Chadwick, when he died, and they were like, see, he was vegan. And he still died of the cancer. And I told him exactly what you just said. For one, he had already had the cancer. But we're not understanding. That's why they say it's better to take preventative measures than to try to reverse something. It's a lot easier to prevent opposed to reverse. And sometimes we wait too late to make the transition. So we wait till we get the cancer, get the heart disease, get the diabetes, and we try to go plant-based or we try to go vegan. And when it doesn't work, we blame that lifestyle. The vegan lifestyle wasn't the reason why he got the cancer. The vegan lifestyle wasn't the reason why you got the diabetes. So it's not the reason why you didn't reverse it. Along with that, he had a demanding schedule. And they tell you, if you striving to reverse a condition, your environment is very important. You must be in a peaceful environment. That's why Dr. Sebi had people go to these retreats, man. You had to be in a certain type of environment to reverse a condition. You got to be in a certain type of environment. You can't be out here working like a slave. You can't be out here trying to memorize lines like that, man. You got to be relaxed. You got to be relaxed. And that's an important part of the process as well. So if you got cancer and you just say, I'm going to go vegan and it's going to reverse it, you got another thing coming. It's a lot of other factors. They say the diet is about 30% in regards to cancer cases, man. So you got a bunch of other different factors that you got to consider when it comes to reversing that cancer. So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, bona fide. People don't eat they veggies. They don't eat their fruit because again, they think fruit is the enemy, so they don't eat the fruit. And then people don't drink water. That's what people do out here. Like they don't drink water. You get that a lot out here, man. They just straight don't drink water. Andronicus, they definitely don't want you to be in tip-top shape because again, we know the money to be made. D Monty, and that's where my research is leading me to. Terrell, once again, one of my first videos, I talked about that. I actually broke down why we not carnivores by nature. Broke that down. I broke down all of them. Tony Briscoe, I think I seen that with Bernard Hopkins. And that's funny again, too, because I would recommend it for active boxers. And he just got to do some more research. He just got to do some more research because I would definitely recommend it to active boxers. I recommend the lifestyle to anybody. It's just the way you got to go about it. It's certain things that, again, that's why I like this book. It lets you know when you go vegan, things that you are more likely to be deficient in. So you just got to make sure you're getting your calcium up. And there's ways to go about it. So you got to make sure you're eating the calcium-rich vegan foods and things of that nature. You got to make sure you're getting your zinc in. So you got to make sure you're eating the calcium-rich, not the calcium-rich, but the zinc-rich vegan foods and things of that nature. Make sure you're getting your beans in. and things like that. You got to make sure you're getting that vitamin D in, because these are things that vegans tend to be deficient in or lacking in. So you got to make sure when you transition to the vegan lifestyle that you're getting those things in. Calcium rich food, zinc rich vegan foods, vitamin D in. You need to make sure you're getting those sources of foods in. And that's what's important. Oh, DJ Elmo. Yeah, that's most definitely one of the quickest ways to get rid of them. Most definitely one of the quickest ways, using the food as a weapon. D Monty, big time ritual. Big time. Righteous Reese, no doubt. C Square, stay away from any form, stay away from the bacon. I don't care how good you think it tastes. Stay away from it. Stay away from it. Yeah, D Monty, and I ain't even like, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Just tip of the iceberg in regards to what they really be doing in these factories when it comes to these animals, man. That was the tip of the iceberg. We got a lot more horror stories where that came from. And it's crazy. Like I said, that's what's being transferred to the person that's consuming that meat. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be consuming that type of energy. Yeah, Terenzo, it's a death worship. It's a death addiction. It's a death addiction, man. It's a death addiction. We addicted to it. It's a death addiction. We addicted to death. Yeah, Terrell, Terrell, man, it's like, again, it's just so much evidence that's showing and proving what we are by nature. But again, a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people don't want to hear the facts. The underscorpion, yep, the chicken stomach. Oh, and Reaper, we already know. We already know. We already know what's going on. That's back when I used to talk about Monsanto and Terminator seeds and things like that. So we know what's going on. We know what they plan to do out here. Yeah, Sharif, man, and that was one reason why I said it was just flat out ignorant, because it was like he wasn't even receptive. Like Cam Newton sat back and listened to my man's talk his talk, but anytime somebody tried to talk about veganism, my man's wasn't letting nobody talk for real. So that's one of the reasons why I like that, man. They let him talk. They let him run down this whole regimen, but he not really letting people break down the science of veganism, man. And I don't really be liking that. Ricky, peace, what's going on? Jay, what's going on, my brother? Oh, DJ Elmo, man, I ain't even, man, it's some other stuff that I'm gonna break down in the near future that's really gonna break down the ill effects of eating meat. And I'm gonna give y'all one thing that y'all may not have even known. When you start eating the meat out here, they done told people that grilling food is okay. If you're gonna eat it like baked or grilled. I'm gonna drop a jewel on y'all. I ain't gonna explain it yet. I'm gonna explain it in a video in the future. But I did the knowledge and found out that microwaving your food is less harmful than grilling it. That's how crazy this game is, man. They done told us that grilling it is one of the cool methods. Nope. So I'm gonna break down some information that breaks down. Now, again, microwaving the food is not ideal. But when you think about the ways to prepare the food, we have been taught that the microwave is one of the worst ways, but we think grilling is cool, man. Everybody be grilling. We don't really know how dangerous it is to grill the food. So I'm gonna break that down. Oh, Jay, no doubt. No doubt about it. No doubt about it, man. Like, I can't, like, being around certain meats and whatnot, man, just makes me sick now, man. I'm at that point. Like, I don't even want to be around it because I know what then went on. I know what then went on, man, to get that meat to that plate, and they don't sit well with me. Uniquely Amani. Good thing you asked that question. This book talks about it. And that's why I like this book, because they did a lot of studies on vegans, vegetarians, what they would call near vegetarians, meat eaters, pescatarians, and all of these groups in these studies were health conscious. So even when they did the study on the meat eaters, it wasn't just savage meat, it was health conscious meat eaters. So that's another reason why I like this book, is because the study revolves around health conscious meat eaters. So those that are eating meat but are conscious of, like, they trying to eat the vegetables, they're trying to eat the fruits, is letting you know that you still are more at risk, even when you try to be conscious about it. But if you need to consume any type of meat, pescatarianism is the way to go, but you got to be mindful of the mercury. When you consuming seafood, when you consuming fish, you dealing with probably the most contaminated food source on the planet, because of how garbage the water is, how polluted that water is. So when you consuming fish and seafood, you dealing with some very contaminated sources of food. So you got to be mindful of that. So I never would really overdo the fish or seafood. Wouldn't overdo it. I would eat it every other day as opposed to every day. What happens is when people go pescatarian or they eat fish, they eat it every day. It'd be the same meal. It'd be salmon and like broccoli or some steamed veggies. You don't need to eat that salmon every day. Eat that salmon every 2 days. Stop eating it every day. You do not need to be eating a meat source every day. Literally, you don't. But that's what I would recommend. If you got to consume any type of meat, then pescatarianism is your way to go, according to the evidence, according to the studies out here. But I would recommend eventually trying to wean yourself off of that. Honestly. Sharif, man, give me 1 second and I'm finna go grab the B12 and D3 supplement that I use. Y'all can go grab this on Amazon right now, right here. Mary Ruth, vitamin D3, B12. These are the only 2 vitamins that you may need to worry about if you going plant-based vegan. Now, B12 you can get through nutritional yeast. You can get vitamin D3 from other sources too. But this is a very healthy alternative right here. Mary Ruth vitamin D3 B12 gummies. Very tasty as well. So yeah, I would recommend getting these, adding these to the regimen. Can't go wrong with them. Even if you're getting the B12 and D3 through other sources, still can't go wrong with getting that. Just to double up and make sure. Nero, peace. Oh, DeMonte, no doubt. No doubt. And then another thing too, man, I just felt like, I was like, man, when I saw that video, I was like, man, I gotta start back going hard in regards to just putting out the information out here on the vegan lifestyle, on the plant-based lifestyle, because I was like, man, that's just ignorant for this dude to come out here and say that. So that almost kind of inspired me a little bit, man, to go a little bit harder out here. Because I'm like, man, we can't have that. We can't have this. Justin Green, well, there you go. Well, I shared. There you go. Ricky, man, Ricky, you got it. It's a gradual process. Gradual process. Yeah, Thunderscore. Hey, you get light. You light on your feet. People didn't notice that when we was working out in the gym pre-pandemic, people was noticing the energy that I had. One brother came up to me and asked me flat out. He was like, hey, man, you a vegan? Dude didn't know me. Didn't know me at all. Never had a conversation with me. But he analyzed the way that I used to move in the gym, the energy that I had in the gym, and assumed that I was a vegan based off of the way that I moved around the gym. Because I move around that light manner, man. I just was going from station to station. I had all energy. And he analyzed and observed that and was like, hey, man, you a vegan? I could tell by the way you moving around this gym. Jacoby, you say, what would I touch on when it comes to manifestation and being vegan? Now, what do you mean about what I touch on in regards to manifestation? But being vegan, I would tell you, if you're not already vegan, if you're not already going plant-based, baby steps. That's important. Ease your way into it. Don't beat yourself over the head. Like if you wake up one day and be like, all right, I'm finna go vegan. and then you mess around and you eat some and you find out that it got milk in there or it got eggs in there. Don't beat yourself over the head and be like the world is over. Don't do that. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the process. But manifestation, man, you just get up, speak your piece, and go about your day, and you're gonna manifest whatever it is you want to manifest. Static saying, what's going on? Oh, Terrell, no doubt. Those are the additives that they placing in the food. Those are the additives that they are placing in the food, man. That's activating the pleasure hormones, the dopamine and all that type of stuff, man. So of course, that's what they're doing, which is why we addicted to them, because some of these foods make us feel good, and that's by design. Righteous Reese is crazy. You say, that's me. I'm skinny. People always say I need to eat more protein, but I think it ended up giving me heartburn, which ultimately made me become a vegetarian. It's crazy, man. It'd be the first thing somebody tell you, eat more protein. Everybody a nutritionist. It's crazy. It's crazy. Aim or fix? I'm glad you asked this question. Speaking of depression, what to do when you can't take it no more, but you still have to keep the job because you don't have the budget to quit. I'm really sick of it. Suicidal thoughts almost every day. Listen, aim or fix, I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't had a budget to quit, but I had to do it for my sanity. But this is what you do. This is what you do. You got to start working on your exit plan right now. And you got to start speaking positive thoughts into existence every day. Anytime you feel those thoughts coming to you, creeping up on you, you got to neutralize them with positive thoughts. Man, you got to listen to affirmations. You got to listen to motivational speakers. You got to continue to consume positive energy, positive information, motivation, and all of that. You got to constantly consume it, especially when you find yourself thinking suicidally, man. You got to counter that, neutralize that. So you got to do your affirmations more so than the next person. You got to think about the type of life that you want to live, man. You got to write it down, and you got to write it down as if you have already accomplished it, as if you are already living that life. And anytime you feel that depression creeping up on you, pull out that note card and say, I am this, I am that, whatever it is you striving to be. I am rich, I am wealthy, I am free from this job. Like, read that to yourself every time or anytime you feel that depression creeping up on you. It's going to neutralize it. And eventually, it's going to lead to a better situation for you. Thunder Scorpion, most definitely. Most definitely. Righteous Reese, man, no water literally gonna kill. We can go longer without food than we can go without water. So that no water literally killing you. DJ Elmo, we stop eating McDonald's for a day. The way we eat McDonald's on a daily basis, if we went one day without the McDonald's, they'd take a hit. Just one day. Let alone a year. We went a year, that'd be crazy. D Monty, yeah, I don't argue with him at all. They got a whole medicine cabinet, a whole pill cabinet, a whole pill box. Man, they got 10 different medications, and they telling you that you need to eat this, that, and the third. Same stuff they eat. I don't want to end up like you. Justin, man, pork tears up your inside, like pork tears you up. We don't bring up the worms now. Righteous Reach, man, I'm definitely gonna get into that. Definitely gonna chop it up. Yeah, DJ Elmo. That's why they recommend when it's salmon, the wild caught Alaskan salmon. That's what they recommend. But like I said, you eventually want to just wean yourself off of that because that water is too polluted. Oh yeah, y'all was responding to the microwave. I telling y'all, I got some information. I'm gonna present that. I'm gonna present it. But again, now I'm not saying the microwave is healthy, but I'm saying it was healthier than grilling based on some stuff. Man, y'all don't understand. Grilling food is dangerous. Grilling food is actually dangerous. The W Battle 77, man, get up on it. Get up on it. Hey, Sherwin, appreciate that. Appreciate that donation. Yeah, D Monty, that's what I'm saying, man. It's crazy out here. Because I remember the reason why I brought it up is because when I went to college, they gave us a list of foods to eat. It was a red list, which means you don't eat nothing on this list. It was a yellow list, which you can consume that in moderation every now and then. Then you had a green list, which are the foods that you are supposed to consume as an athlete. Y'all know I played football. So the green list, it was like baked chicken, grilled chicken. So I was either eating baked chicken or grilled chicken because that's what they told us to consume. But no, that was not, that should have been on the red list. Oh, Taka Zulu. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. That's to go find a silverback gorilla. What's the main staple of his diet, of his regimen? We already know how that go down. Hey, righteous Reese, man, you donating your time. That's enough for me. Hertz 187, you take one of these a day. You take one gummy a day. And yeah, the elderberry, got some elderberry gummies as well. Now the elderberry gummies, they do got zinc, which if you go vegan, vegans tend to be lower in zinc. So we got zinc and it's got elderberry and it got vitamin C. But vitamin C, vegans don't have to worry about vitamin C. We typically get enough vitamin C, but it got vitamin C, elderberry, and zinc. Which again, if you vegan, you tend to be lower in zinc than other groups of people. So that's good that they got the zinc in there as well. Lindell, peace. Travian. And you know what's crazy? This is why I feel like I got to get back on here and just refute a lot of information. What be killing me is, see, when people start giving the information about gaining weight, and then you start looking at bodybuilders and things like that, we start looking at them like that's the perfect picture of health. Like, man, look how dude is built. No, that don't necessarily mean dude is healthy. Just because the person is muscular, just because he didn't gain the weight, gained a little bit of muscle, does not necessarily mean the person is healthy. These bodybuilders do a lot of destructive things to their bodies. But a lot of people look at a bodybuilder or look at somebody in the gym that may be swole and they be like, man, dude must be healthy. So it'd be funny, Travian, when people be like, yeah, drink the gallon of milk to gain weight. Like gaining that's gaining bad weight right there. That's gaining bad weight. Like I said, I played football in college with a brother. All he drank was milk. When we was in the calf, he'd have 5 or 6 glasses of milk. And that dude stayed with bone fractures. So when I pulled the book out that stated that drinking milk actually strips the calcium from your bones and makes the bones weaker, he was evidence of that. He was proof. That dude stayed hurt. Stayed hurt. And all he drank was milk. Lolita, you say, was it hard when we first went vegan? So I was vegetarian before I met her. So she would have to speak on it on her behalf. But when I made the transition, only reason it was difficult, for one, because I was like in college. So by default, I still had to deal with my people and my peers. So I faced a lot of just unnecessary negative energy for my decision. Then I still had to be around the food when I would go to my people's crib and whatnot. So it was like a lot of people wasn't understanding the decision that I was making because veganism, vegetarianism wasn't really that popular like it is today, about 10 years ago. So when I made the transition, the only thing that was rough is when people around me found out about it. And they just started, man, making a mockery of it, bringing the food that I'm trying to eat around me, intentionally joking about it, saying I need to eat this. Like that part of it mentally was just the roughest part. Didn't necessarily care for all of that. So I wish I could have did it more under the radar. I probably, looking back on it, hindsight, would have made the transition after I was done with college and stuff, man. But I just felt like I needed to make it at that time. Aim or fix, man. You got it, bro. Keep your head up. Keep tapping in when I'm going live, bro. We can't lose you out here. You got a purpose to fulfill, my brother. You got a purpose to fulfill. So stay locked in. Stay focused on it. Stay focused on your purpose. Stay focused on that purpose. We can't lose you yet, yo. Like we can't lose you yet to something like that. So stay focused on the purpose. Stay focused on your purpose. Because you definitely got a purpose that's greater than what you're doing. So you got to fulfill it. Oh, Travian, so you did, oh man, woo-wee. I can't listen. We ain't supposed to be drinking milk like that anyway. Most of us lactose intolerant, especially black folks. So we ain't really supposed to be consuming milk, eating dairy products anyway. But I know right now, if I drink some milk, I'll be out for 10, 20 days. That milk be tearing me up, man. There you go, Sharif, man. Aim, read exactly what Sharif man told you. And do it. Yeah, D Monty, like I said, man, you go a year without McDonald's, that'd be crazy. A week without McDonald's, a week without people going to McDonald's would be crazy. But a year, that'd be wild. Sherwin, and I did see right before I had made the transition, I was eating Wingstop. I was eating all that. I was eating everything. Listen, people don't understand. When people be sitting here saying I can't give up chicken, I can't give up this, that, and the third, I tell them, man, y'all didn't meet the younger me. When I tell y'all I ate everything, there was no limits to what I consumed, man. I mean that. I mean that. I ate any and everything. I was any and everything that was bad for me, I wanted it. I ate it. If it was good for me, I ain't fool with it. I was the typical, I ain't want to eat my veggies type of kid. I ain't want to eat them veggies. I don't want to eat them fruits. I want the honey bun. I want them cookies. I want all the processed food. I want that meat. That's it. I want the milk. I want the cheese. Like I was eating everything I wasn't supposed to eat. Righteous. There you go. Alkalizing that water. That's how you do it. The lemons and the cucumbers. Yeah, D Monty. I ain't like now when I was doing it, when I was doing it, where I was at, definitely wasn't nobody else doing it. Definitely wasn't nobody else doing it. CJ, tofu has its benefits. I don't eat tofu like that, but tofu has its benefits, especially when you're talking about protein in the vegan aspect. Air view, and that's what I'm saying. When I was playing sports, they was like grilled chicken or baked chicken. Here to tell you now, they don't be doing that grilled chicken. That ain't as healthy as we think. Yeah, Hertz is not as bad as we have been led to believe. Now, if you do anything excessively, it can become bad. So if all you consuming are the microwave TV dinners, like that's a problem. But that problem is a little bit bigger than just the microwave. When you look at the back of those TV dinners, you're gonna have a lot of sodium and all type of other stuff that you don't need to be consuming. So it ain't just bad because you got to keep microwaving it. It's bad because of look what's on the back of it. Oh yeah, Terrell, no doubt. And then you get a lot of zinc from your beans as well. But it's the amount that you have to consume to get the required amount. So sometimes we don't eat the proper foods or the proper amount of the food to get the required amount, which leads to the deficiency. Because it's like you can get calcium in a lot of dark leafy greens, but the thing of it is we just don't consume enough. So you got to up your intake, make sure you consuming enough of the foods. Yeah, Magic Rims, they be juiced up. Yeah, the pumpkin seeds, DJ Elmo, zinc and iron in the pumpkin seeds, but pumpkin seeds are definitely beneficial. But when you find like a little, a little gummy that got elderberry along with zinc, that's like doubling up. So that's good. You getting a lot of bang for your buck. Because I was just getting it for the elderberry because I was out of my elderberry and couldn't find no syrup or whatnot. So I was just like, let me get this gummy then. And it came with a lot of other stuff. So I'm like, I ain't mad at it. Yeah, Dominique, get them smoothies in. Kenneth Williams, appreciate that donation, my brother. Dominique, man, most of these bodybuilders will let you know off the rip that what they doing is unhealthy. That's why I'm striving to document my journey of just increasing strength, building muscle, going plant-based. So when y'all see me lifting heavy weight, it's like, dang, dude out here, this what dude eating, dude drinking smoothies out here lifting 400-500 pounds. For some reason, I don't know why I got to continue to show and prove that to people, but people that see me in the weight room. So I'm eliminating all those myths. When people act like vegans frail, vegans weak, vegans ain't got no muscles, like I'm like, dude, just come work out with me. DeMonte, never too late to start the marathon. Never. Yeah, Hirsch 187, man. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy just the back. Like I kind of expected it, but like it was just kind of petty at a point. It's like, man, I'm just striving to do something that's healthy, man. I don't want to hear a joke about it every time. You know what I mean? Every time I try to eat something, I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, you eating rash. You ain't eating no real man food. That ain't no real food. Like, I didn't feel like going through that, man. So sometimes what happened was, not even gonna lie, like I used to try to conceal that around people, man. I used to just try to get my little plate, go out to the side. I ain't really had time to be talking to people about what I was eating. So a lot of times I was just hoping people ain't notice what was on my plate, man, because I ain't feel like having those conversations. That's what happened back in the day. I was like, man, just let me get my little plate in peace, man. Move on. Let me go on my lunch break. I go in the car. I ain't eating around everybody else. I don't need to eat around y'all, man. I ain't got time for that. So I just go out to the whip, eat my little fruits, keep it moving. Got more energy than everybody. Yeah, DeMonte, I ain't gonna lie, the hardest thing for me to give up was like the dairy, probably like the cheese, man. The cheese was getting me. Terrell, man, appreciate that donation, man. We just, like I say, man, we just getting the ball rolling on content, man. I got some stuff in the chamber. I got some stuff in the chamber in regards to like nutrition, man. Some stuff in the chamber. I got it. I finally even set up my little membership joint on here. I'm gonna start supplying certain members with workouts and all that type of stuff, man. So we finna take it to the next level from a health and fitness perspective. Thunder Scorpion. It'd be harder to do it the second go round. Righteous Reach, man, that fiber, that your greens, and steel cut oats too, but your greens though. Yeah, Travian, it lets you know because again, the body gonna strive to reach that state of balance by any means necessary. That's the blessing and the curse of the body. The body is going to do what it needs to do to balance itself out. Hence, when you drink all of that milk, the body like, all right, we got to balance ourselves out. So guess what? We're going to strip the calcium from the bones because we got to neutralize the acid that you just consumed via this milk. So we going to balance ourselves out at the expense of your bones, though. So the body, that's a blessing and a curse, that the body going to do whatever it needs to do to balance itself out. That's a blessing and a curse. That's why it's best to just take care of your body. Yeah, Airview, them pumpkin seeds be lit, man. Pumpkin seeds righteous. Yeah, D Monty, it just be funny to me when they say vegan and frail or act like vegan can't be strong. That'd be funny to me. Funny. Magic rims, yeah, kale and spinach. Top 2 greens right there. Top 2. Airview, and that's what it is, because we live in such a negative and toxic world that when you striving to do something that's positive, they try to make you feel bad about that. Like, oh, you striving to better yourself. Why would you strive to better yourself? The world is negative out here. You need to join it. You need to stay with that wave. So they straight make you feel guilty about doing something that's positive. Crazy. Crazy. And it's just ridiculous. Yeah, Justin Sims, they definitely do that. They definitely. Ms. Donnie, and I tell people that all the time. What they say, body don't lie. The body talks to you. Body talk. When you eat that meal, when you eat that meat, and you just extra tired after consuming that meat, just look at Thanksgiving, these holidays, when people consume these large meals, and man, they sit down on the couch, all of a sudden they just dozing off. Like, man, that food tore you down. That food is making your digestive system work overtime. And I always bring this analogy up. When you overwork, how do you feel? When you working 70, 80 hours a week, barely getting any sleep, barely getting any rest, how do you feel? So how do you think your digestive system is feeling when you never give it a break? It feels just like you would feel if you never got a break from work. You working 24/7, 365. Man, you're not going to last long. But man, that's what we doing to the digestive system. We making that digestive system work overtime, even when we sleeping, because we done fed it so much toxic food, man, that it can't even sleep when we sleep. That's why fasting is important, because man, our digestive systems are overworked. Overworked. Oh, D Monty, that hey, you be feeling yourself on it. Beast by Bless on now. Appreciate that donation. Appreciate it. Yeah, Ms. Donnie, I mean, have you feeling bad? So a lot of times, and that's why I tell people, a lot of times, man, we be having these, we be having episodes of depression. We be having, man, like, man, look at what you was eating. What you was eating may have contributed to that depression. It may have contributed to that mental state. You just overlooked it and you felt like it ain't had nothing to do with what you ate. May have had everything to do with what you consume. Sharif, man, listen, fasting save your life out here. Fasting will save your life. Whether you do fruit fast, whether you do smoothie fast, whether you just go water, stuff saves your life, man. Saves your life. Saves your life. Your digestive system will thank you when you start fasting. That reverses the aging process and things of that nature when you incorporate fasting, man. Fasting will literally save your life out here. Literally. And you even got, man, listen, that's why I tell you, it's a lot of conflicting information. You even got people who bold enough to come out here and say or discourage people from fasting. Now, y'all just got to think about how much sense that makes. They out here, it's a lot of information where people out here talking about, when it talks about weight loss and obesity, you got people actually out here that are telling people that you don't need to fast. You don't need to fast. You shouldn't fast. Fasting is dangerous. That's starvation. That's what people are out here saying. I'm like, if you study any type of history, fasting is one of the age-old remedies. We had to fast by default because we sometimes didn't know we was going to get our next meal. And just look how lean we were. What type of people out here, man, I don't even want to get into that spiel, man, but they just discouraging fasting, not understanding the science behind fasting. not understanding the science behind fasting. And it kills me. It kills me. Ms. Donnie, there you go. That's righteous right there. That's righteous. That's righteous right there. Magic rims, man. Listen, when you look at nature, you see it. They fast, they rest, like they do all the things, man. All you gotta do sometimes just study the animals, man. Sometimes all you gotta do is just look at the animals, look how they operate, look how they move. It's like, oh, okay. And I'm gonna even drop a jewel on y'all too. I'm gonna drop another jewel that I'm gonna explain in another video about cleaning fruits and vegetables and how sometimes it's best to not clean the fruit and vegetable that you get from the store. I'm gonna break that down too. And it has something to do with B12. So I'm gonna break that down. But sometimes we overly focus on cleaning the fruits and vegetables that we get from the store. I'm gonna break down some science as to why sometimes you don't need to eat it clean. You don't need to put that water on it and wash all of the bacteria and stuff off of that, because some of that is helpful bacteria, and I'm gonna break that down. But I just want to throw that out there because, again, that's one of the things that we don't necessarily know about. It's almost common for us to go get the pack of strawberries, clean them off real quick. I'm gonna tell y'all why sometimes it's not necessarily the right thing to do. I'm not saying that you should not clean them all the time, but in some cases, it's best to take them right out that container and consume them. And I'm gonna break down why in the video, but that is important. That's important. It has something to do with the absorption of vitamin B12. That's all I will say about it. Hearst 187, it kind of depending on how long you fasting for. So you fasting for a day, first of all, you want to break every fast in a light manner. So you want to drink like a vegetable broth, maybe get you like fruit smoothie or something in you. So you want to break it with like a light meal, something light. I would say keep the calories light when you break the fast, but you can eat your normal round of calories, however you want to do it. But definitely when you break it, though, it should be light, though. Like the first meal upon breaking the fast should definitely be light. Even if you're not fasting and you just waking up eating something for breakfast, it should be light because, again, you still breaking the fast. We literally break a fast every day. And it should always be something light. D Monty, never seen a skinny preacher. That's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. You just made me think real quick. I just got in deep thought because I don't recall ever seeing one myself. I may know of one that I have seen that I can recall. Yeah, Terrell. D Monty, yeah, we got one, man, but I don't, that mug be on the side of town. I don't be feeling like going to. But we got one though. We got one though. We definitely got one. Hey, Native Peace, what's going on with you? What's going on? You say people touch on the fruits, they fall on the floors. The stuff that we eat that's packaged up, we don't know where that stuff came from, but we eat that. We don't know where that came from. We don't know if that fell anywhere. We don't know who touched that. So we eating that. So every time we eating something out of a can, just because it's packaged and wasn't opened in the store, don't necessarily mean we know where it came from. Don't necessarily mean that it came from somewhere clean. So again, I'm gonna break down the science in regards to that. I'm gonna break down the science in regards to that. But we can say that about a lot of stuff. We can say we don't trust people about a lot of stuff. The way if we eat anything that's packaged, we can question that. Yeah, Miss Don. And then just getting into the end goal is growing your own food. That's the end goal. Yeah, Miss Don, I think I know one. Herx, appreciate that donation. Miss Don, I think I know one. And dude it ain't like he necessarily like skinny to the point where you could tell he work out, do stuff like that. He just ain't big. I don't think he do anything, but he just not big. Other than that, though, a lot of preachers I know, they got the gut. They got a gut. And what's crazy is that's funny coming from preachers because man, that it you got stuff, you got things like a Daniel fast, like you got a lot of fasting that's supposed to happen religiously. So that's funny. They supposed to do a lot more fasting than we be doing. I think I fast more than religious folks. That's kind of crazy. I think I value fasting more than they do, and they supposed to value fasting 1,000%. So that's funny. That's funny. They supposed to value fasting 1,000% more than us heathens, but I value fasting a lot more than them based off my experience. So they supposed to be out here fasting like a big dog, man, but they don't be fasting. They don't be fasting like that. I remember I brought up fasting to a client the other day, and I told her Sunday. I was like, hey, try to fast Sunday. She was like, you know what? I might do that because then I can fast and pray. Like that's right. Like I'm like, man, y'all supposed to be doing that anyway. Like y'all supposed to be doing that anyway. So like y'all supposed to be fasting and praying anyway. Like that's some stuff y'all supposed to be doing. So it's like that's funny to me that more people that are religious don't fast. A lot of times when I bring up fasting to religious people, they are the ones that be like they not doing that, or they be the ones that's not receptive to it. It's interesting to me because again, it's in your text to fast. So I don't understand why that be like groundbreaking information when I tell a Christian or a Baptist or a Catholic to fast. I don't be under that'd be some weird info. That'd be weird. That'd be weird. It's like the non-religious people get it, but the religious folks don't get it. Like, dude, y'all supposed to fast. Fasting is supposed to be a part of your life. Hence why it's in your religious text, meaning it's a part of your life. So you're supposed to be doing this consistently. And if you did it consistently, you will reap the benefits. So that's something that I have found that was very interesting. So I'm glad you brought that up, D Monty, man, because I done had some strange experiences with religious folks and fasting. I thought that they would be a lot more receptive and open to the idea of fasting. I get the most pushback. Man, I ain't doing that. I can't go 24 hours without. I'm like, man, don't y'all do the Daniel fast and all of that? It's interesting. Thunder Scorpion, man, I got a cousin in Atlanta. I got to go to Atlanta to check out that slutty vegan spot. Man, I hear everybody talk about that. I got to check that joint out. Uniquely Amani, fasting, meditation, manifestation. All of that is important. All of it. I mean, that stuff will change your life. So when I tell people to fast, I don't be understanding the pushback. Like, man, that stuff will change your life. Literally. The 3 pillars right there. You focus on those joints, man, your life will change. Your mentality will change. Everything will change. D Monty, that's what I'm saying. That's why I told people. I ain't even lying. I told people, I said, man, I follow the Bible more than religious folks, and I ain't even religious. Same with like the Quran. But some of the Muslims be following that Quran. But I'm like, man, I follow these holy books more than the people that's supposed to be following them, which is weird. Nah, Justin, it's the former Bengals receiver, Ocho Cinco. Yeah, Taka. Yeah. And they even say that about cancer. The main food for a cancer cell, the food that the cancer cell likes the most is sugar. Boom. But when you say that though, people hear that and be like, oh, so I can't eat fruits to reverse the cancer. No, it's the artificial sugar that the cancer cells like. not the fruit, not the sugar from the fruit. So we always gotta differentiate that. Differentiate the two. Like, you can still consume the fruit. It is the artificial sugar that causes the problem when you are dealing with cancer, when you are dealing with any type of virus. Y'all remember when I brought up the dude that reversed the AIDS? Dude was drinking orange juice. He was consuming fruits. Sugar, that's natural sugar. Reverse his whole condition. Reverse that whole virus. So he wasn't staying away from fruit. He was consuming the fruit, drinking the orange juice. He was on a juice fast. Changed his environment, was in a more peaceful and relaxed environment, got his rest, and he reversed. I think he had AIDS, so he was at the stage of AIDS. He reversed the AIDS. But let them tell it there is no cure for it. JFW321. Funny that you mentioned that, because the book that I brought up, Becoming Vegan, that's one of the studies. When they studied the 7-day Adventists, I tell people, one of the healthiest populations in this country, a lot of them are vegetarian vegan, which would be the 7-day Adventists. She could not wait for somebody to say fast and manifest. D Monty, it's some ports though. You got to catch them though. Not some ports. Some Muslims you catch them slipping. Some Muslims you catch them slipping. Some Muslims you gonna catch them slipping eating that pork. Tormented Science Project, man. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break the science down. I'm gonna break it down. Hey Marcel, man, I appreciate you tapping in. Ricky, and woo, I really, matter of fact, man, I'm telling you, boy. Now Brandon Marshall be doing a good job. Cam Newton, they, kind of held their ground. But man, somebody needs to set him straight on that, man. I don't like that. Somebody need to set him straight on that vegan tip, on that plant-based tip. Righteous, man. Hey, Righteous Reese, man. We got more where that came from, man. I was gonna actually, until I thought about it, I was gonna do a video about 10 things to do to prevent, cancer and whatnot. So things that you need to eat, things that you need to implement in your life. I was gonna do that initially, but then I was like, nah, you know what? I'm gonna touch on this. Yeah, native is crazy out here. Airview. No, I'm glad you asked that. Airview, the only time that I really actually kind of go out of my way to correct people is when they say something that's false pertaining to something, a lifestyle that I live. So when you come out and you say something about veganism that's false and you're not vegan, then I gotta correct you. Especially when you saying it as if it's something that's true. I must correct that every time. Must correct that every time. So if it's a lifestyle that I live and somebody is saying something incorrect about it, must correct it at all times. If somebody just out here talking crazy, then that's just on them. But when you say something pertaining to my lifestyle that's incorrect, I gotta correct you. Gotta correct it. Proper education always corrects errors. So we gotta correct the errors when it's pertaining to our lifestyle choices, things that we actually do. So it's like me being with the 5% Nation. If somebody comes out here and says anything incorrect about the culture and they not living it out, it's my duty to say, hey, that's incorrect. Here's the proper information in regards to that. So if anybody is saying something incorrect about something that you know for a fact is incorrect, you got to correct it. Got to correct it. You just got to neutralize that. Whether they listen to what you're saying or not, man, you have got to correct that error. You can't let somebody sit here and say something about a lifestyle that you live knowing that it's incorrect. You can't let them get that off like that. I got to correct it. D Monty, man, that sounds kind of good. I might have to try to do that personally. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, Nero. If it's modified, it's bad. But now you just got genetically modified people. You got processed minds. So that's also part of the problem. Now we done been eating this processed food for so long, we have become processed, or what we would call grafted. We got grafted minds now. That's why you see a lot of self-destruction out here. Oh, Thunder Scorpion, that's kind of dope, man. But I got to get down there, man. I got to get down there and check it out. You can do anything while fasting. I have lifted heavy weights while fasting. I have ran while fasting. I've done cardio while fasting, depending on the length of the fasting. But it's like you could do a lot of stuff while fasting. Yeah, Dominique, and it's correct. And again, I want to bring that point up too real quick. It's funny that when I talk to religious people about fasting, I get a lot of flack. But then when I tell people I am fasting, they say, "What religion are you?" That is very contradictory. So when I introduce it to the religious folks, they like, "Nope." But then when I say I'm fasting, they say, "What religion is that?" So you know subconsciously that it's associated with a religion. But then when I bring it to you, you like, "No." Kurt Sr., that is very normal. When I made the transition, I lost 10 off the rip. Anytime you eliminate anything out of your regimen, you're going to lose about 5 to 10 pounds just off of the strength of eliminating it. So, yep, that's normal. That's normal. I went down about 10 pounds as soon as I made the transition. Native, hey, I don't know what my people going to tell you, but I do a video just about every day. I do about 5 a week, and then I do like 2 short videos. So I'm live often. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to oversaturate the YouTube algorithms. Every time you look up, I want y'all to see me live on this joint, dropping that information. Ataka Zulu. And I'm glad you said that, because I've been around some Muslims, the Arab Muslims. I've been around them crazy, right? They are fast. Then when the sun down, see what you supposed to do exactly what you just said. They supposed to do that. When it's sundown, they supposed to eat something that's healthy. Watermelon. Boom, that's cool. The one that I was around, when it was sundown, they was allowed to eat. Man, they eating candy, they eating cakes, they eating all type of negative stuff that you're not supposed to be eating. And wondering why they not losing weight. Was hitting me with the, yeah, I be fasting for Ramadan, but I don't be losing weight. And I found out what they was eating when the sun go down. Dude eat all the processed food. And I'm talking about dudes intentionally staying up at night just to eat these bad foods because they ain't gonna be able to eat during the day. So I was like, hey, some of y'all Muslims doing that totally incorrect. That is not how you supposed to go about that. You're not supposed to say, all right, we just gonna not eat during the day, and then I'm gonna just try to take advantage of the sundown time and eat everything under the sun at night. That is the worst time to be eating those type of foods. So when you don't eat during the day and you eat all garbage at night, that you might as well just eat trash during the day. You might as well not fast. You are defeating the entire purpose of fasting. Like that, when I saw a dude doing that, I was like, yo, what you doing? But I literally, when I was the last corporate job I was at, my brother was dude was fasting during the day, going to the crib, eating all type of nonsense. Dude didn't eat nothing that was healthy when the sun went down. That was wild, man. That was crazy. I'm like, dude, you killing yourself, literally. Because when you fasting, that's what's going into your bloodstream. All this negative food that you eating. What are you doing? Hey, Miss Donnie, man, I be hurt when some of y'all ain't tapped in, man. I be like, man, where y'all at? I be looking for y'all, man. D Monty, man, I got hip to some, man, I got hip to some fruit that I ain't even tried yet. Man, have y'all heard of sour sop? Man, I ain't even had that yet, man. So I'm getting hip to like new fruits in the game. I'm getting hip to some new fruits, man. I'm getting hip to some new things I gotta try out. So Native, you say you're a food delivery truck driver, basically running 10 hours a day. What diet you recommend while working? I've ran into a lot of people with said problem there. It's a lot of these services out here that can that send you the packaged food on a vegan plant-based tip. You can either try that. Or you could just up like your intake of like nuts and seeds, like hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, things that are nutritious like that you can eat on the go. So you want to eat more of those if you constantly on the go, and then get you some like fruits and veggies, man, and then get you some water. But then with the water, you want to put things like chlorella, like the little powder. You want to take chlorella powder, spirulina, wheatgrass. You got kelp powder. You want to take these powders and you want to put them in your water to get you more nutrients. So that's a good way. That's a good way to kind of eat when you constantly on the go like that. You got to put these minerals and these powders in your water, because that way you get more bang for your buck. And then you want to eat more things like nuts and seeds, because you can eat these things on the go. So I recommend eating something revolving around those things. D-Mont, yeah, man, you say you can't blame him, huh? Yeah, man, soursop, I just got hip to it. I ain't even gonna lie. As much as I know about fruit, man, I just got hip to it. I'm like, I gotta go and get one. I gotta find it. Gotta get the soursop. Like, hey, man, I can eat, man, I can eat fruit all the time. Matter of fact, in a minute, I'm about to get off this joint so I can make a smoothie filled with fruit. Man, Nero, man, I'm telling you, boy, if I lived in Jamaica, I'd be good. Like the fruitarian thing would be easy. Then that's all I eat. That's all I eat. If I was on a different part of town, but that's all I eat. Brandon Collins, yes, walnuts are good. They good for the brain, the omega-3s. So definitely consume the walnuts. Walnuts are definitely good. And Miss Donnie, and that's an actual fact. Same three dead animals. And what's crazy, they want to eat the same three dead animals. Then when you say you don't eat them, they act like they be like, well, what you gonna eat then? They act like it ain't a bunch of fruits and vegetables out here. And that's just fruits and vegetables. We ain't even got into the whole grains. We ain't even got into all the other stuff. We ain't even got into the beans. We ain't even got into the nuts and seeds. But when you say you don't eat the meat, they act like you have just eliminated all food. Well, what you eat then? Man, you know how many fruits exist? You know how many vegetables are? You know the variety of fruits and vegetables that are out here? Come on now. Come on now. The Monty, pink guava. See, these are things that I gotta expand on that, man. I'm trying to get into those fruits. A Takazula, that's what I'm saying, man. I want to just travel to some of these places just to eat there, just to eat the fruit. Like I literally just want to travel to some of these places just so I can eat the fruit. And Airview just said that. I literally did not see that comment. Airview just said that. That's literally what I would be doing. I would literally be that dude, traveling just to eat the fruit. Then I'm gone. Yeah, Tony, I gotta get the sour, so I gotta try it, man. People been talking good about it. Yeah, Miss Don, like there is absolutely no other food on the planet. Man, you don't eat meat, you don't eat cheese, you don't drink this milk. What you do then? Man, I think at this point, I'm starting to feel like there are more plant-based milks than actual cow milks out here. So I don't know what people be on about the milk. Righteous Reach, you already know it ain't too easy in St. Louis either. Yeah, to Renzo and see, I ain't even had the guy. Man, I got to get on it. I got to get on it. Sometimes it sucks being on a certain part of the planet. Oh, Demonte, you know the papayos and mangoes gets it in. Gets it. We fools with those now. We fools with those. We fools with them. But with that being said, y'all, man, y'all just messed around and made me crave a smoothie, man. So I gotta make a smoothie. I gotta make these smoothies around here, man. Y'all done did it now. So now I gotta tap out real quick, man. So it was nice chopping it up with y'all, man. I gotta get this smoothies made and head up to this gym, man. So I gotta make some moves. So I appreciate all the donations, the comments. It's a good dialogue, good interaction. Y'all already know. I'm gonna tap back in with y'all tomorrow. Possibly around the same time, man. I got a weird schedule tomorrow, so I don't know. Maybe a different time. But I'm tapping in with y'all tomorrow most definitely. So be on the lookout. Gonna be talking about something related to health and fitness once again. So we gonna chop it up. But y'all be easy out here, man. Y'all stay peaceful. I'm out. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.